to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Guns, self-defense, concealed carry. This is the Patriot Defense Podcast. From the war room in Idaho's high desert, here's your host, Todd Echols.
And welcome back to Welcome to Guns, episode number 13. Today's topic is what to do after you take a class. So we've kind of progressed up to this point. We've talked about classes, how to choose an instructor, what to expect when you go to class. So maybe you've gone out, you've taken a class, and you're like, that was a lot. That was a lot. I learned a lot. I've taken classes like that where you actually take a lot of notes. You remember a lot of things. And yes, take notes. Taking a class isn't always just going out to the range and shooting. There is sometimes portions of it where there's a lecture portion. They make good points. They talk about things you need to know, and it's good to take notes. In fact, a lot of classes I've been in, they encourage you to actually take notes. So you want to sit back and review and kind of go over in your head, what did I learn in that class? What were my good points? What were my bad points? What was I successful at? Was good at performing? And where do I need work? Because we're not all going to be perfect. We're all going to need work in one thing or another. For example, when I have classes, sometimes people are, even if it's a beginner's class, sometimes people are better at fundamentals than another person. I say I have two people in the class, and one person is just picking up on the fundamentals really, really well. They're getting a really good trigger press, like it's just clicking. Some people, it takes a little longer, right? They have a flinch built into them or something like that we have to work on. So then I might take one person and I might say, okay, well, we're gonna progress you. You work on this drill. We're gonna kind of move you forward a little bit. You don't obviously need as much time on the fundamentals because you got those pretty dialed. And so you'll work on this, and this other person over here, they're just going to keep working on the fundamentals. So wherever you're at, oh, got a hiccup right there. Wherever you guys are at after you take the class, think about where you left off, okay? And think about what you've learned. And now next time you go, practice those things. I see a lot of people take a class, and that's great. And they don't do anything between classes. Like they'll take a class 1 week and then 2 weeks, they'll sign up for another class like 2 weeks later, which the classes are normally like in progression. Well, just for easiness, simple, to keep it simple, we'll go beginners, intermediate, advanced. Okay. And they'll take the beginner's class, and 2 weeks later, or a month later even, let's say a month later, they'll take the intermediate class, and a month later, they will take the advanced class. But they don't do anything in between. Now, what should you be doing in between? Working on the stuff that you learned in the previous class. So what happens is I get people that will come and take a beginner's class, and they'll sign up for the intermediate class, and they'll show up, and the last time that they worked on anything, or even went shooting, or the last time they worked on anything that we learned in the beginner's class was in the beginner's class. So you need to go out and you need to work on these things and get better. It just doesn't happen via classes, okay? You have to practice. You have to practice in between. You have to perfect those things. That way you can come to the next class, the next sequential, I don't know that word, the next class in the order, and you can have progressed. You can have mastered. The goal is to go and master what you learned in that class so you can add to it, because when you learn to shoot, you build. You learn the fundamentals, then you start adding trigger reset, and then you start adding better recoil management. Then you add, this might be a little out of order, but then you add drawing from a holster and moving targets and multiple target acquisitions and, controlled. I hate double taps. I hate that word. Controlled pairs and so on and so forth. There's so much more you can do, but you have to build one upon another. You can't take a beginner's class, go to that class, that's it, not do anything. 3 weeks later, show up for the intermediate class and just work your way up. You have to master one to be able to add to it so that you can master it as a whole. That's how that works. So go out, put the time in, put the effort in. You have to go out and, I had someone tell me I have some women's groups running right now, and in my advanced class, there's a gal, and I should probably try and get her on the podcast, but Alexa, she came and she told me she's out shooting for the advanced group, and she's like, "Hey Todd, I've been shooting." I said, "Man, you've been pretty good. Like, it's been the last time you shot," because she took last year's group as well. It's been like 2 or 3 months. And I was like, "I'm impressed. You've been out practicing?" And she goes, "Yeah, actually I have." She goes, "There's a group of her." She goes, her and like 3 or 4 of her other friends, they go out like, I don't know if it's monthly or twice a month or what it is, but it's at least monthly. They will go out. Maybe she said it was once a week. I'm going to have her on the podcast and we're going to find out. But they go out together, right, to the range out in Jerome out here, and they practice their shooting. And I can see it in her target. I mean, she's holding, it's like a 50-cent piece. Like, she's just drilling them. And then there's other ladies in the class, and everyone's doing good. Don't get me wrong. But there's other women in the class that the only time they shoot is when they come to class. And that's still quite a bit. That's still going to be twice a month, right? But then life and everything else gets in the way. And for some people, it's like they're starting over, or they just pick up where they left off at the last class. The benefit that Alexa is getting is she's getting out there, and she is putting more time and more effort into it. She enjoys it. She has a good time with it. And the more practice you do, the better your skills are going to get. And I see that. I see that in her shooting. And I think that's phenomenal. I love the fact that first of all, she was with me from like day one, and I love the fact that she's confident enough now and knows how to do everything. I have no qualms or doubts that she knows how to do her stuff, that she knows what she's doing, and she gets out and gets it done and practice. And she's good, and she can go out and she can shoot with her friends by herself. She doesn't need anyone else there, right? She's confident, she's safe, she's competent. She can go out and get this stuff done, and that's what taking classes and continually shooting does. And that's why you need to get out. You need to get out and train and practice between those classes. You're just going to improve. You're only going to get better. It's when you take the class and you go home, you put the gun down, you don't pick it up again for another month or 2 months, right? All that stuff that you just learned, you just started developing that muscle memory and all that stuff, it just kind of goes away. Muscle memory and shooting a firearm all it is muscle memory. It's doing the correct thing over and over and over and over again and creating those neural pathways. The only way you're going to do that is by getting out and exercising it, getting out and strengthening that muscle memory, strengthening those neural pathways. That's the only way that it's going to happen for you. You just have to practice. Practice makes perfect, even in shooting. So there you go. That's, I guess really, this episode, it's episode 13 on Welcome to Guns, actually ties into Monday's episode of the training series. This episode is what to do after a class. Monday's episode for the training series, episode 12, was train with intent. So essentially, you're just training with intent. You're going out and taking the stuff that you learned, and you're practicing it, and you're getting better. These two episodes actually kind of link up. They kind of go together, I guess, if that's what you want to say. But there you go. That's what you do after a class. Get out and practice. Bye.